Welcome back to the news at 10. Kogi State Governor Idris Wada has set up an 8-man committee to ensure that all laws in the state are properly gazetted. During the inauguration, which took place at the executive chamber of the government house in Lokoja, Governor Wada directed the committee to revise all laws which have been enacted or passed but are yet to become fully operational. Gathered at the Kogi State Council chamber are the State Executive Council members, the state's Chief Judge and President of the State Court of Appeal.
My Lord, Honorable Justice Nasra Jana, the Chief Judge of Kogi State.
They are here to witness the inauguration of a committee who have been selected to codify the state laws.
My Lord, the Chief Judge has also told us there's a caliber of leaders who they are.
It's the first time since the creation of the state 22 years ago that laws which courts and legal practitioners can rely on are being codified. The exercise, according to the state governor Idris Wada, will improve justice delivery in the state. He charged the committee to be creative and resourceful as they take up their assignment.
This event signals the defining moment in our determination to strengthen the administration of justice in Kogi State. It is on record that since the creation of Kogi State in 1991, there has not been any subsisting codification of laws which courts and legal practitioners can rely on to enhance the process of justice delivery in the state. The purpose of the law revision exercise.
Chairman of the committee, retired Justice Michael Medupin, promised to do a good job with his members, but he asked for two things from the governor. One, to be given enough time for the assignment, and two, to be given adequate funds.
The purpose of the law revision exercise is to revise, correct, arrange, and consolidate the laws. I'm sure with the caliber of people we have in Your Excellency, we'll be able to produce, we're not disappointed to be able to produce the laws of the state, but it will take some time. Definitely, it may take about, with the caliber, I'm sure, in about a year, we should be able, by God's grace, we should be able to produce the laws of the state. At the same time, Your Excellency, like you mentioned, that it involves some funding, it consumes some money. You understand? But it's not a question of because so many things are involved, and the printing and all these things, it costs money.
The revised laws which have been enacted or passed but are yet to be enforced will be properly gazetted to aid the quick dispensation of justice. The decision by the Central Bank of Nigeria to control the use of US dollar in the economy is generating mixed reactions. While some analysts say the decision is in order, some currency traders are of the view that the policy is affecting the exchange rate of the naira negatively. In this report, our correspondent Bolaji Akinwale examines this policy and its impact on the economy.
It's the new $100 bill. In fact, it's one of those notes printed by the U.S. government. According to this BDC that we are in, the equivalent of this $100 bill is 16,500 naira. That means that a dollar here has been sold for 165 naira. Although at the official exchange rates, which the central bank represents, a dollar is being sold at just about 115 naira to the greenback. However, many Nigerians at the moment may not be able to use more dollars in the economy as the central bank is trying to curtail the use of the foreign currency. This decision was taken a few months after the Central Bank of Nigeria reintroduced the retail Dutch auction system, which requires detailed documentation on foreign exchange transaction, all in the bid to control the use of the greenback in the economy. Analysts have differed on why the CBN is against the dollarization of the economy.
The process that he is now against has been ably supported and encouraged by the central bank. The central bank itself decided willfully, totally unforced, to be allocating $1 million to each bureau de change.
Those of us who are outside the central banking system, we don't see the entire picture. We only see one side of the coin. And as a result, they have better information. And they don't forget that returns are rendered to central bank on a regular basis.
According to the Apex Bank, the need to place a limit on the use of the dollar is occasioned by the fact that Nigeria is regarded as the highest importer of the greenback.
Formerly, you can go to any of the banks where you have the MoneyGrams come in, but now you cannot. Rather, you'll be given in Naira. Also, those actually curtail the dollar inflow in the market.
A number of arguments have ensued from the ban of excessive use of the US dollar, and these centers on the need to strengthen the cashless initiative of the Apex Bank. At the BDCs, the demand for the greenback is now on the rise.
Since this announcement, since October 2, there'll be more demand in dollars, to be very frank. Because previously you can walk into any bank, like BDC operators, you can buy in different banks. Okay, there was no limits by that time. You can be allocated your bank and give up to $50,000 in a day for you to bank. But now, per BDC operators, you can only buy $250,000.
Things are going to be expensive in the market as a result of the increase in the price.
It's essential that our economy here needs to be boosted while encouraging the likes of the way they change, isn't it? That's the only way out. And by the time you say we want to decentralize it, it's going to have a lot of impact on those who are in the financial sector.
Many say that the primary duty of the central bank is price stability, and this may continue to dominate issues until the economy derives more benefits from this development.
And growth in the real economy.
Bolaji Akinwale for Channels Television News.
And for the rest of the day's business news, here's Mokbe Ogun.
Well, thank you, Harriet. Leaders of the 15-nation Economic Community of West African States has agreed to implement a single customs tariff regime from 2015 in an effort to accelerate economic integration. The common external tariff is designed to harmonize customs charged on imported goods to the bloc populated by some 300 million people. The president of the Ecowas Commission, Kadri Desiree Ouedraogo, says the introduction of a single tariff regime would kickstart stalled negotiations with the European Union on an economic partnership agreement. The summit also approved the introduction of a 1.5% levy to finance the activities of the community to replace an existing 0.5% tax, which leaders agreed will be phased in over 5 years. The group aims to introduce a single currency throughout the bloc by 2020. And more locally, the oil and gas free zone, OGFZ, has recorded an additional investment of $200 million in 2013. The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Mr. Olusegun Aganga, said the $200 million investment was in addition to about $4 billion capital investment recorded so far by the OGFZ. This development, according to him, is a positive one for the Nigerian economy in the face of global economic challenges. He spoke during the second edition of the Nigeria Oil and Gas Investment Forum in Onne, Rivers State, with the theme Investment Opportunities in the Upstream and Downstream Sectors of the Oil and Gas Industry. Mr. Ganga says, owing to the tremendous success the country has recorded through its free zone policy, more local and foreign investors have renewed their interest in investing in the free zones. And taking some news from the banks, Union Bank of Nigeria PLC plans to divest its non-banking subsidiaries within the next 18 months. The bank says the move is to comply with the central bank regulations of separating business and retail banking. 3 years ago, the central bank stopped issuing universal banking licenses and enforced new minimum capital requirements for banks in a bid to avoid a repeat of a 2009 near collapse of several lenders, including Union Bank. The new banking model requires lenders to sell all non-core businesses and form a holding company if they intend to carry out insurance, asset management, and capital market activities. The bank's chief executive, Emeka Emuwa, said the bank had 18 months to implement the divestment, emphasizing that owning non-banking units had become less important with the growth of its core business and its ability to partner with other firms to cross-sell products. And Ecobank Transnational has opened its first branch in Ethiopia, establishing a foothold in the fast-growing East African economy and extending its African network to about 35 countries. Ecobank CEO Thierry Tano says the new branch is expected to give the lender a head start in marketing its Pan-African services to overseas businesses and other banks in the region before possible banking deregulation. Shares in the bank slipped 1.36% to 13.85 naira on Friday, but the stock has gained 24% since the start of the year. Ecobank, which has been expanding rapidly across Africa in recent years, said it obtained the license for a representative office in July and that the new operations will start with an initial staff of 3 people. And looking summarily at this week at the Nigerian Stock Exchange, investors churned out over 1.5 billion shares worth 18.011 billion in that's 18.001 billion naira in 26,028 deals. The NSE All-Share Index gained by 0.32% to close on Friday at 37,461.94 points. Similarly, the market capitalization appreciated by 0.61% to close at 11.969 trillion naira. 30 equities appreciated in prices during the week, lower than the 43 equities of the preceding week. 49 equities depreciated in prices, higher than the 29 equities of the preceding week, while 118 equities remain unchanged, lower than 125 equities of the previous week. And that will be all on business news tonight. Harriet will be back in a moment.
Thank you, Mark. But next on the news at 10, Brazil's women's soccer star Marta inches closer to winning a record Ballon d'Or award. That's on Sports News. Please stay with us.